Today we're at 207 East Chestnut Street in Goldsboro, which happens to be the address of our Wayne County Sheriff's Office. And we're here today with George Williams. George, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Wayne. Good to see you.
Glad
to be here.
Appreciate you talking with us.
Thank you.
We want to talk to you about a special event that's going to be coming up.
Yeah.
And this was your idea. You're putting it together, and you're getting since everybody's found out about your idea, you're getting a lot of support, a lot of help. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, back the latter part of June, I began to think about how much I appreciated our law enforcement. And I often thought about the times that when I served on a rescue squad for 15 years, back in the late 80s and early 90s, of how much I appreciated the efforts that they gave and provided for us squad boys. They oftentimes kept us from getting hurt, I imagine, with guns, the way people handled guns and knives and everything else, and I appreciated it so much, and I oftentimes didn't tell them thank you enough. So I decided I'd get me together a crew, a committee, a steering committee, and I went to work on it, and I talked to my daughter. She and I decided we'd get a group together, so I got 4 more members to join me, and this is where we are. We're going to have a lunch for all the law enforcement officers in the county, city police, deputy sheriffs, highway patrol. Everyone in the county is going to be invited on September the 8th at the Wayne Center. And we're going to just have a dinner and show them how much we appreciate them for what they've done and what they're going to do in the future. And I look forward to that dinner.
Well, George, I'll tell you what, that sounds like a great idea, and there's already a lot of people involved. Where's the food coming from?
The food's coming from McCall's Barbecue, and we're going to have barbecue and fried chicken, potatoes, and slaw and hush puppies and iced tea and water, about anything. We'll feed everybody. Randy said he had enough food to feed every county officer in this county.
And as Grandpa Jones used to say, yum, yum.
Yeah, that's right, yum, yum. But Randy said he could take care of all the food, so I'm hoping to get at least 200 or more. And so we're going to start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and run until 7, and down at the Wayne Center. The feeding will be there, and the only thing we're going to do is just come in and eat, and you can leave when you get through eating if you want to. We're hoping to have some officials from the state here, but we don't know for sure on that yet, but that's what we're working for now. So I just look for a great evening, a great time. My committee consists of my daughter, Denise Combs, and she works for Wayne Surgical Associates here in town, office manager there. And then Sheriff Larry Pierce's better half, Miss Rita.
She is much better.
Yeah, she's better. And then Susie Daniels, who's the wife of Jeff Daniels,
yep.
And then retired police chief Jackie Wark.
Jackie Wark.
That's the 5 of us that's on the committee, and we're going to have a meeting this coming week and this week and get everything ironed out. We think we got pretty much everything ironed out already, but we're going to ask for donations from any individual or business. I already have some churches that are volunteering to make an offering for, and we're just telling them we want you to feed a cop.
Feed a cop.
Feed a cop on September the 8th.
You know, George, for as long as anybody can ever remember, there's been law enforcement everywhere.
Yep, that's right.
As long as from way back in colonial times, and further back.
Right.
But do you really know what they do? And I would venture to say that most people are not aware of the day-to-day routine that our law enforcement goes through, and that's a sheriff, that's the sheriff's office, that's local police. Each department, each community has its own police department.
Right.
The hospital has a police office. The school, the Wayne Community College and University of Mount Olive, they all have security and police. But these people, most people just don't know everything that they go through and what they have to put up with. It's not an easy job, and it's a tough job. And
they don't get paid half what they deserve.
No, they certainly don't. And I would hope that most people would at least have the spirit to go up and thank a police officer or a law enforcement official or a sheriff's officer. Thank them for what they do.
Yeah.
They're protecting you and me. They're protecting us.
And even, you know, Wayne, I had an experience just a 3 weeks ago. I ran up on a roadblock here in town. And it was quite a few city police officers there. And of course, they were checking driver's license, and I handed my driver's license to this young man, and he looked at it and he said, "You can go, Mr. Williams." I said, "Well, I want to tell you, I appreciate the good job you guys are doing." And he stopped. He said, of course, he knew what my name was because he just looked at my driver's license. He said, "Mr. Williams, I've never had anybody tell me that before."
That's a crying shame.
Never before.
I always thank him.
Well, I thank you.
I thank him every time I see him.
Amen. Me too, buddy.
Every time I go through a traffic check or anything like that, I thank the officer there for what they're doing, because they're in danger right there.
Exactly.
Anything could happen at that point. These people put their lives on the line for us. Yeah, they get paid for it, but they don't have to. They could do something. They could do anything.
That's right.
And let me tell you. Let me get on my soapbox here just a minute, George.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
There's very few things that really irritate me, but one thing that I have to admit really gets under my skin is for a parent to try and correct a child by saying, "Don't do that. I'll get a policeman to come put you in jail."
Yeah.
Or I'll get somebody to come take you away.
Yeah.
And it frightens the child into thinking that the law enforcement is not their friends.
That's
well,
right.
law enforcement is your friend, my
Exactly.
friend. They are your friend.
Exactly.
And you have to understand that. And don't ever, ever tell a child that somebody's going to take them and put them in jail, because it scares the child. It makes them think that law enforcement is not their friends.
That's right.
Well, you got to stop doing that. And I don't want to hear anybody say that.
At age 77, which is what I am.
Get out of here.
77, I have always admired law enforcement. Highway patrolmen, city cops. Yeah, I've made some mistakes. I've done some things that was wrong, and I've got caught. But
No,
it's been
not
very,
you.
very few times. And I've never been into jail, but one time in Wayne County, and that was when I went on a rescue call to pick up somebody that tried to hurt themselves.
Right.
The only time I ever been into jail. But I've lived here all of my life. I've been a resident of the county. I've served on the boards with Crime Stoppers Board. I've served on the board with Red Cross. Served for 15 years on the rescue squad, and I just continue to want to do something for somebody else. That's what my mother and dad always taught me.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, you know, George, everybody makes mistakes.
That's right.
And even people who end up behind bars, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean they're bad people.
That's
it
right.
just simply means they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Now, the second, third, or fourth time, that's different.
That's
but
exactly
if
right.
they end up there the first time, anybody can make a mistake. So the message is, don't be afraid of law enforcement, because indeed they are your friends. And for crying out loud, if a law enforcement person, male, female, whatever, tells you to stop,
You
stop right
That's
there.
right.
If he said put your hands up, you put your hands
That's
up. Don't
right.
run.
You're
That's
right.
the worst thing in the world you can
You're
do.
right. I sat when the Dallas episode came on TV and watched the newspaper, and 5 people lost their lives in Dallas. And since then, you know, Wayne, we have had a loss in the United States in law enforcement officers. The last count I had last week was 34. And probably...
That's in recent days.
That's
recent.
And recently we've had a third to almost a half of that in the last 2 or 3 months.
Yes.
And if it keeps going at that rate, it just makes me sick to think about it. We've got people in this United States, thank God we don't have them in North Carolina so far, but we may have. We may have them right here in Wayne County. And I told the sheriff, I'd hate to see CNN or Fox News or ABC or NBC come camp out here in front of the courthouse because of some law officer been shot and killed.
I'm going to say something.
I dread that.
Let me say this. There have been times, and I have heard recently, where some of our law enforcement people have been threatened.
Oh, yeah.
That happens every day.
Every day.
Every single day they're threatened.
Yep.
What do? Do they go home and hide?
Nope.
No.
Come right back to work the next day.
They come back to work and they do their job. These people are their jobs and their lives are on the line here.
That's right.
They've got to do their job. So when a law enforcement person, police, sheriff, highway patrol, whatever, tells you to stop, you follow instructions, you stop.
Exactly.
If he tells you to put your hand on your head, you put your hands on your head. It's like doing the hokey pokey, I guess, isn't it?
That's right. Do what they say.
Do what they say.
Let me give you one other tip. I want to tell everybody, if you would like to make a contribution to our efforts, our goal is approximately $4,000 for everything.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
It's not much of a
Approximately
goal.
$4,000. It's not a whole lot.
Not a whole
In fact,
lot,
it's a
George.
small amount for a county as big as we have here in the county. But if you'd like to make a contribution from an individual or a business or a church or the doctors or the lawyers, whoever it might be, you can make the checks payable to Friends of Law Enforcement and mail it to me, to my post office box, which is 10217, Goldsboro 27533.
All right, that's to Friends of
Law Enforcement. Make a check payable to Friends of Law Enforcement and mail it to me at my post office box 10217.
10217.
Right, and its zip code's 27533.
All right.
And all the money that we raise, if we raise more than is needed to pay for what we have today, we will donate to charity.
All right.
Or possibly we'll just think about having it and making it an annual event and do it again next year.
I think that's a great idea. Let's do it every year.
Let's do it every year. We'll look forward to doing that, and I don't see no reason, if you and I are around, we can't do it next year.
Well,
I plan on being around.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
too.
me too.
I'm not going anywhere. All right, George Williams, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, my friend.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts too.